How's it going, people? Welcome to another episode of Loud and Proud Orlando. My name is Luis Carlos Pineda. It's Monday, March 21st, 8:33 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, live and breathing, and very happy and excited to say that Orlando City conquered LA in their last game. I think it was defensive prowess from every single player on the pitch. I have to say, I am very happy that we beat the five-time champs. You know, we made Chicharito kind of stop talking. You know, I think our center backs neutralized completely Chicharito. He had no chance. Douglas Costa came out injured. Boo-hoo. But they have a phenom in the works. And that phenom is called Kevin Cabral. And what a player. If Tejan Buchanan was difficult for our back line, difficult for Orlando, the last time, every single time we play the Revs, Kevin Cabral is going to be somebody to take note of. He was what a player. I think the best player in LA, in my opinion. And I'm just going to say this real quick before I give the mic to Dave and introduce our guest. Obviously, LA said that they had the best defense in the MLS. That was completely that's an understatement, in my opinion. That was it could have been. Orlando had a couple of chances. Again, the scoring part, we need to obviously get more oil in that engine, you know, for it to start working better and better. I think the goals are opening up for certain players like Facundo Torres, his first MLS goal. But very proud of the team and the relentlessness and the resilience. So before further ado, and I'm gonna tell everybody to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're live right now. Click on the notification bell for more notifications. We're live on Facebook as Loud and Proud Orlando. We're live also on Twitter at LPO_podcast, and also on my Twitter handle at Pineda_ORL. Thank you to everybody that's live. Dave, how are you, my friend?
Thank you very much, Luis. Quick comment. I don't know what is going on in my house. I right now I have like 17 different bulbs, and I always look like I'm in a tunnel. But it doesn't matter. It's Monday night. Thank you to everybody that is watching us live. And thank you to everybody that is watching this video later on during the week. And thank you to everybody that's listening to us on your favorite uh, podcast application. My friends, today I just came back from vacation, got up 4 o'clock in the morning, drove to work a full day in Fort Myers, and I just got back an hour ago, and I'm here with you guys to talk about Orlando City. Surprised about our results. I'm not gonna lie, I was stunned, shocked that Facundo Torres scored such a beautiful goal. We got
Great
the
goal.
result, sort of soothe our wounds from the FCC result, and we're gonna be talking tonight about that and a lot of cool things that are happening in our club. So let's go to our guest.
Well, how you doing, Zach?
I'm not too bad. How are you guys?
Good, good. You're
Awesome.
with OC Fan TV, OC Fan TV, correct? Is that how
Correct.
it's called? That's right. If you can tell us a little bit more about it, and what made you an Orlando fan and all that good stuff.
So OC Fan TV actually got started last year. It just started as me posting like results and news and stuff on Instagram, and it's kind of turned into a more of a podcast slash show. And we got more exciting stuff coming up. So it's just a group of me and a couple of my friends, and we're gonna try to get out outside games after and kind of get fan reactions after, kind of like Arsenal Fan TV does over in England.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
interesting.
but we're just kind of a starting up podcast and trying to get our name out there with a couple of events and fun stuff.
No, that's
Awesome.
fantastic, Zach, and that's the thing that attracted me to your project primarily, because this has been done in the past in Orlando City, but unfortunately, there hasn't been any continuity. I think getting the reaction of the fans right after the games is
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. It's more genuine. Right, Luis? When people have to talk rather than just type, on
Yeah,
Twitter,
right.
you get you
Definitely.
get you get a more, I don't know, human reaction to
Yeah,
games.
plus I honestly don't like to type a lot. Even though I'm a
Yeah,
journalist,
same
I
here.
honestly I'm more of like a talker, personally, so I'm not behind the keyboard all the time unless it's Orlando and Orlando Pride or OCB, of course. I'm there behind the keyboard for sure.
Especially right after the games, you get that instant reaction. What you actually want to say. It's kind of unfiltered content, so it's the better
Absolutely.
reaction that you get from people.
Awesome, awesome. So we're looking forward to that. Do you guys already have a YouTube channel where your content can be consumed?
Correct. We only have 2 videos up on YouTube right now. It is just OC Fan TV. We are working on getting our camera quality a little bit better. The space that we film in is kind of limited, so we're trying to figure everything out. But other than that, the audio is on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to watch the camera version, it is on YouTube at OC Fan TV.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So let's dive in. So I mean, Orlando conquers LA. Obviously, we have this picture here. Thank you so much to Mark Thor and Orlando City Communications for the wonderful picture. Um, Again, who would have thought that Erjan Kara could cross the ball so well like that
Incredible.
as a nine? That tells you the level of skill and versatility the players that the front office has brought into the club have. For every single person that doubted the signing of Kara because he was not a name player like a Ronaldo, Messi, a Higuain, a Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I mean, playing and scoring over 13 goals in an Austrian league makes you kind of do those type of things. He ended up pretty much playing as a winger at that point, crossed the ball perfectly. And again, you see the type of player Facundo Torres is. He literally jumped over, like, took the advantage of the two center backs of LA. They're like twice his size, and he scored a header.
Hmm.
So I mean, not only he can maybe do free kicks and he can do great plays and assists and shoot from outside, the penalty spot, but he can also give you those type of goals. And I mean, the opportunities were there. I think LA made tons of mistakes when it came to their lineup on that particular game, and I think Orlando capitalized. And then after that, the picture of Kevin Cabral came true, and it was hard to handle for a lot of our wingers, a lot of defensive midfielders also. They kind of they couldn't contain him until Antonio Carlos came about, and he kind of went and just had a phenomenal game. I think our two center backs, I mean, Chicharito was nowhere to be found. What were your thoughts, Dave? And then we'll go to Kevin. No, sorry, to Zach, and give you your thoughts on the game.
Absolutely. Um, just so everybody knows, this picture right here made the morning news in Uruguay. Facundo's already there with the national team, and there's already hunger for MLS in Uruguay. They want to watch the games, they want to consume the content. An opportunity that I hope MLS and Orlando City do not let go to waste. About Kara, I have to tell you, he could when interviewed, he said he was just a traditional number nine, but the traditional number nines that we had in the past in Orlando City never play like him. This individual, this player, not only had this fantastic cross defensively, he cleared the ball on the line. The equalizer for LA, he booted that thing out of there. He has been dangerous in the game in Chicago. He could have had a hockey assist on the goal that unfortunately was taken away from us. And of course, Pro said that it was a goal the following week, but I digress. So to me, our friend Sergio Luis Torres posted actually a video with more footage because Univision was so horrible this past weekend with their camera work that we almost missed the goal live. It wouldn't be a first. Um, Basically, we have Juan in the midfield, passes the ball to Kara. Kara he has the awareness to realize that he's trapped. He can't go anywhere. But he sees Facundo on the far post, and Mauricio Pereira, our captain, had the foresight of continuing to rush the near post because he knew that the attention of the goalkeeper was going to be on him, because you would think, hey, the guy is trapped in the corner. He just basically just going to try to pass the ball to Mauricio to get a tap in. Unfortunately for LA Galaxy, the defender that was on Facundo felt he was not a threat, left him alone long enough to receive this beautiful cross. It's a goal. And what I like about Kara is that he doesn't have this big head, like, I'm the number nine, I'm supposed to score the goals. He realized he was not in a position to score. His partner was, and guess what? The 3 points are the priority here. 9th minute, we score, and after that, Chicharito was neutralized. In my opinion, the man of the match was definitely Antonio Carlos. All over the stat sheet. If he's not in the All-Star game, I don't know what he needs to do in order to get that privilege, that honor. And as you guys can see, but for those that are watching, you can see it was just a textbook cross. These are guys that 4 weeks ago did not know they other exist. So this is in a month we have this type of connection. I don't want to see in 6 months what we have, because definitely it's gonna be deadly. Zach.
Yeah, I fully agree with everything you just said, especially at the end. You're talking about they didn't know that each other existed 4 weeks ago. So it's crazy to see them be able to have that chemistry. Facundo cut across the box and Kara see that and just put the ball on a golden platter right for him to finish. And even the celebration after, for Facundo to just jump into Kara's arms, like, that's kind of what you love to see. You love to see the passion from the boys while they're playing. I think it's definitely a sight to see, especially away at LA.
No, and one thing that I want to add on there too is that the team plays so compact, and just everybody wanted to defend. I understand LA had some dangerous players for sure, but everybody was going for the hustle play. Everyone wanted to recoup the ball. I think the back line was just, I think if we don't have if Antonio Carlos is not in the MLS All-Star this year, if he continues with this level of play, I mean, it'll be a disgrace, just like what they did to Pedro with the, best goalkeeper in the MLS. Whether all the pundits and on the little numbers here, the stats correctly, if they want to say that he doesn't deserve to be the best keeper in the MLS, even though he is the best level player, goalkeeper in the MLS, in my opinion, because he plays CONMEBOL. He plays CONMEBOL. It's a higher level than CONCACAF. All right. Obviously, if they do that to AC, it will be. I will definitely have my sign outside too. I mean, honestly, it'll be disgraceful. I mean, if he keeps this level of play, unbelievable, and it's contagious. That's the coolest part, in my opinion, because you see either Jensen and him going for the hustle play. You see Sebas trying to recoup the ball. It's contagious. It's contagious to the whole team, and I think that's a great sight to see. What are your thoughts, Dave?
Well, I gotta tell you, Orlando City continues with a 4-2-3-1 that has been paying dividends. LA play more of a 4-4-1-1 that was ineffective. Chicharito spent more time arguing with the ref than actually trying to score goals. But when you look at the stats, basically we played a defensive Alamo. I will call it that way. 20 shots from LA, 6 from Orlando. On target 3, ours 2. Obviously, one of them being the goal. Possession 63% for LA Galaxy, 37 for Orlando. 12 corners for LA, 2 for Orlando. And I gotta be quite honest. When we were conceding this many corners, I was already bracing myself to concede because the law probability says that one of these goals are going to come in. Orlando City has been prone to concede from set pieces as far as I can remember, and not this year, thank God. Basically, the only 2 goals that we had conceded this season have been in the run of play from basically crosses. So things to work on, but I think that it's LA Galaxy. They were at home. They have been a tough team to crack for us in the past, and they probably have their best. Well, I wouldn't say that. Without Zlatan in the past few years, this is probably their best 11. And like you said, Cabral, obviously, it's a super talented kid. I believe he tried like a scorpion kick at some point.
Yeah,
And yeah, so we got lucky there. It was an ugly game in a way for us, but we knocked them in the teeth early enough, and we grinded the result. And with this, I finish with to quote Facundo after the game. He said, "If we all 11 of us had to get in between the 3 sticks there, the 3 posts." To prevent a goal, we would have had to do that because we came to get our result. What happened last week is not a definition of who we are, and I believe him. I mean, these guys play as a team this early in the season.
Kevin. So we have the lineup here. Obviously, you know, we won. It was a great defensive press from Orlando City. But on the other side, I mean, what were your thoughts on how LA played the game? I mean, they had some chances and were not able to. I mean, and the reason why I ask is because a lot of people are downplaying the fact that we won 1-0. I mean, and they're not yet believe the fact that our 2 center backs are outperforming a lot of other center backs in different other teams. What are your thoughts on how this LA team, 5-time champs, with some exciting players this season, they broke the bank a little bit, getting Cabral and different other pieces? What were your thoughts? Why were not able to penetrate our defense?
I'll defer to Zach there for a second, so you can give us your thoughts.
I think it was just kind of one of those games for LA. We thought we were going to concede. You said on one of those corners, you just felt like the goal was eventually going to come, but it never did. Fortunately for us, but they had 20 total shots. I think 13 inside of our box. So for them to have 13 total shots inside of our box and not have one of them go in, one is it pays dividends to have a defense like we have, even if it's just putting a player off in that last second for them not to be able to get a shot off. And then sometimes it's just not going to be your day. The ball is not going to go in the back of the net. So between a mixture of that and a great defense, it paid off. So I mean, there's not much really more for me to say between our great defense and just not having, or LA not having that good day that they needed.
All right, let's dive into the comments here from everybody here. Thank you so much for dropping off your comments to the 15 people online right now. Thank you so much that are watching us live. Ahmed Salim, it says, hope we can keep the same momentum going when we face them at home. I'm sure they will come out strong for sure. And Chicharito is probably going to talk. I'm probably going to be there. I'm probably going to ask him a question here. He likes to fight with a journalist. Always, he likes to respond in a weird way. Joe Pa, thank you so much. Obviously, we did to the Galaxy what FCC did to us last week, which is exactly why we should not freak out about any one game, only one game. It's a long season.
I agree.
I completely agree with this statement, 110%. Victor Rivera, he says, at one point during the game, Facundo was all alone and no one passed him the ball. That could have been another goal. I mean, yeah, he had a couple of chances, right?
Yeah, this will come with time. They're getting to know each
Yeah,
other.
they're gelling, and actually Orlando needs these type of moments now. So when he comes back from international duty, probably clinching a World Cup berth, then he's gonna be one less problem to think about, right? And just focus completely in Orlando City.
Mhm.
Brian Guerrero, Facundo Torres Airlines, brothers, right? Felix Hijano, the defense was phenomenal. Awesome defense. Jim D. How are we feeling about Mauricio Pereira as a captain so far? Dave, what are your thoughts? And then let's
Um,
give it to Mike to Sack after that.
well, absolutely. And Luis, you and I talked about this when you visited my podcast, Tiro de Esquina, where we said that whoever was going to be the captain at the time, obviously we did not know who that person was going to be, was going to have to fill big shoes. I think Nani's energy, culture of winning remains with the club, and that's what a captain does when he transcends the fact that he's no longer there. I think Mauricio is a total different person, while Nani is very in your face, very aggressive. Mauricio is more calm down person. The guys respect him. He demands a lot from them in interviews. Facundo and Cesar speak very highly of him, and that should tell you that the quality of the captain that we have. Um, as a player, he's basically given us what he has been giving us the past few years. We demand more. I think this year, in order for us to lift silverware, we have to be better. But aside from that, I think the selection was correct, and we'll see at the end of the season what's going to happen with him. As we all know that he wants to retire in Uruguay. I don't know. Perhaps his plans have changed, but he may just be here for this 1 year. So we'll have to see.
Sack, what are your thoughts about that question that Jim D asked about Mauricio Pereira as a captain so far?
I don't think he's been a bad captain. Obviously, trying to live up to what Nani was and how much passion he kind of showed on the field. You're not really going to be able to replicate that. But I believe if you want a captain that was going to show that on the field, you could have gone with Pedro, Antonio, or Robin. All those guys wear their heart on their sleeves. They could have also had the captain's band on their sleeves. But maybe Mauricio, like you guys just said, is more of a captain in the locker room behind the scenes in what he says to the players and what he demands from them. But I mean, obviously, I'm not complaining about Mauricio being our captain, but even just the passion and leadership that the two defensemen and our keeper show is something that I wouldn't mind as a captain either.
Yeah, sure. And just to add to that, I think Mauricio Pereira is it's a leader that just talks on the pitch and just tries to make everybody work with each
Mhm.
other. Like you said, I think more a behind the scenes type of. He's not as he. I mean, I've seen him being very vocal in certain games, but you have to understand you're playing away. You have the whole. I mean, it was a beautiful stadium. It was packed. All LA Galaxy fans. Obviously, you have to take that with a grain of salt. You can't be just super vocal about it too,
Mhm.
because the crowd's going to react a certain way. And I just think. They call him the old man. I saw some videos. They call him viejo. Right, the old man. And so they have him. I think all the players have a huge level of respect to him because where he's played and what he has done, and obviously, I guess like you said, when it comes to behind the scenes situations, I think he's the guy who definitely handles all of those and tries to make the team gel together. So no complaints there. I think that the two sixes, the two defensive midfielders from LA, they put a lot of pressure on him too in certain parts of the game, in my opinion. I think Delgado and Raveleson, they put some pressure on him, and he had to find, to pass the ball very quickly to the wingers, and that's why Facundo has such a great game, because essentially Facundo took the ball to be a little bit more creative, trying to go into the attack, and then also Cesar Araujo became more of like a stopper, like a true six, right, rather in the mid, and Mendes more worked with Urso on the right side. So,
Mhm.
it's just part. Each I think each squad that you play against has its own. It's going to have its own flavor for each particular part of Orlando City. We may see, today they're rating Mauricio 6.8, but then the next game you can have, people are going to say he had the best game of his career, right? So it's just part of the game. But overall, I think it was a good game, right, guys? I mean, phenomenal game
What I'm
for Orlando.
concerned is the
Great
yellow
result.
card accumulation.
Mhm.
We had first of all, LA had none. Surprising. We had Juan on the 44th minute, Moutinho on the 70th, and on the 90 plus 3, Araujo, this is his fourth. So if he wants to take away the yellow card king trophy away from Christian Higuita, he's way on his way there. Fortunately, we have great replacements for him, but while this position, more like a six, I will say some people will disagree with me, but I see him as a six. Araujo. It's a position that you're gonna be collecting yellow cards. I would like to for him to be more less prone to get him. You know what I mean? So when the suspensions come in, they don't come in moments where we really need him.
No,
Yeah.
and go ahead, Sai. Go ahead.
I was just going to comment on what Dave was just saying, and
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
the last yellow card that he just got against LA, where he literally, I think, just dove out to grab the Galaxy player's shirt. Like that's just something you see out of a young player, not something you necessarily need to do. Yeah, he's trying to break up a counter,
Mhm.
but I think it was Sebas who was standing right in front of the Galaxy player. And it's just like it's not really needed. So it's just those yellow cards that he's going to have to get out of his system and not acquire.
Yeah, true. Sometimes the adaptation from playing with a different league that's more physical too, it takes its toll on the player. I mean, the Uruguayan league is a very physical league, but obviously that foul was just, he's just trying to stop the play right there, no
Mhm.
matter what
Yep.
it took. He probably thought, oh, this guy's distracted. I'd rather save the team now, and you see that a lot from Uruguayan players. Luis Suarez did something similar in a World Cup. He got himself, he grabbed the ball with his hands. He literally stopped the ball from going in the goal,
Mhm.
and with his hand, blatantly, and he got a red card.
Oh, the
Um,
penalty was saved though.
yeah, and there was a penalty save, and then Uruguay went through the next round.
Yep.
So, I mean, so they are Uruguayan players are just very hustle-minded players. They'll
Yep.
do anything to get that ball. And that's one of the reasons why there's just so many Uruguayan players abroad. I mean, because they have that, hustle mentality. But obviously, like I agree with Sack, I think eventually he needs to realize that we need him on the pitch, right? And we need him with less yellow cards than usual. But another player I wanted to bring out and get you guys' thoughts, so we can switch to the next topic. Um, it's this guy right here, right? I mean, uh, Pedro Galese yesterday, great performance as well. Well, last game, great performance as well. He broke the record of Joe Bendick for record for clean sheets across all competitions, and he's going to play for country now. For Peru. Peru is in this. The Peruvian league is a disaster. It's probably one of the worst in South America. I'm Peruvian and I can say it. Nobody pays me for it. Um, uh, it's one of the worst in South America for youth development. But the bubble is the national team, right? And so this guy excels on both club and country, in a level that I've never seen a keeper doing so. I mean, I'm fairly young, so but the previous keepers for the national team, they have not played at the level he's playing. What are your thoughts on Galesa's performance against LA? Let's start with Dave, and then we'll go with Zach.
Well, what can I say that has not been said already? Pedro Alese had a rebirth in Orlando City. We all know he came to the club with a lot of baggage and trying to have a restart in Orlando. His personal life is at his best. I don't say it. He says it. His wife says it.
All right.
His kids are happy, and this translates into his game. He's making good money. His kids are going to great schools. They live in a great neighborhood. These are the things that translate to a family man, and he can concentrate on his craft. Pedro Alese, in my opinion, is gonna go down as one of the greatest goalkeepers in our club. Not only that, he is mentoring the other two goalkeepers that we have in our squad, the guys from the academy when they practice with the first team. This is contagious, and this is something that this guy, in my opinion, has 10 good years left of him. Let's keep him. Let's do whatever we have to do in order to make Pedro Galese a franchise player. Somebody that when we look back at his time in MLS, we can only think of Orlando City. He has, to quote the great Miguel Gallardo, goalkeepers can't score goals, but they can give you saves that account for goals.
Exactly.
And he has managed to do that time and time again. And the fact is that he's intimidating to a lot of our attacking players in other teams, that they know that to beat him, they have to pull some spectacular shots, because this guy's just not gonna let anything in. So I wish him the best with the Peruvian team. I think one of the best things players like Pedro are doing is that when he came to Orlando City, people were talking trash about MLS. This is something, if you are Hispanic and you you go
Where in
to
Peru?
you go to any country, Spanish speaking country, they always say that they are coming to MLS for the money and they're gonna ruin their
Oh,
careers.
sure.
Yeah, exactly. And Pedro has done the opposite. He has
Sure.
flourished. He has flourished. I think the best is yet to come to this young man. And as an Orlando City fan, I cannot see I cannot see us without Pedro between the sticks.
Zach, your thoughts on Pedro Galese's performance against LA?
Yeah. You started off the same way. There's not really much more that can be said about him. He has been a brick wall through and through in pretty much his entire career here in Orlando. The performances just keep coming, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon. Joe Bendick was a fantastic keeper when he was here. So for one of his records to be broken, and Pedro still have the amount of time that he has in his career, that number of 14 clean sheets is just going to keep going up. who knows where it could be. Hopefully, it's a lot longer, but there's just not many more words that can describe what he's done and is doing for this club.
Look, I have to agree with you guys certainly, and I want to say, for what Dave was saying, um, it is true. There's a big sector, and again, Peruvian journalists that work in the United States are never going to tell you this because they just don't want the baggage. You guys don't understand how many fights, not fights, but like debates, verbal debates I've gone through with other colleagues on other shows, you know, um, regarding MLS, right? It is the old, they think it's still the old model, and it's just pure, just blatant ignorance, in my opinion, because they're not able to watch the league if you don't have cable, in certain parts. Um, they, and it's funny because the Peruvian national team has 7 players of their squad in the MLS. And so, in a way, the league has pretty much boot stomped the way through into Peru. And why is the Peruvian market so great for MLS? And the reason is because players come just like Pedro with failed career in a different country or a bad move decision that they've made in their youth, going to maybe Liga MX too fast, or maybe going to Europe too fast. Hello to Edison Flores. And they decide, okay, well, I'm going to go first to this country, do better, and then go to MLS or go somewhere else. So now they're taking that route, and MLS is getting a young player, a national team with national team caliber that plays on a high level for country, and their country is going to the World Cup. They went to Russia 2018, and now they're on pretty much. If they beat Paraguay, they clinch playoffs to go play against Australia, the playoff to clinch World Cup. So I mean, that market, low cost, high performance for any MLS club is gold. That's why you see Jordi Reina playing in Charlotte, and he still stayed in the league. You still, you see Galese, right? Trying to get, obviously, renegotiate his contract, hopefully, and and stay more years in Orlando. But you see those level of players. You see the Thiago Almadas. He scored a golazo this weekend with Atlanta. Facundo Torres. So you're going to see all these players now. So trying to explain that to somebody that honestly has never watched it or watched that switch, it's very hard. But it's getting better, and people are waking up. People are actually even the players, like, for example, and I can definitely vouch for this. Galese, every time he talks about the MLS, he talks wonderful things and how he's so happy. And there's a lot of people that have honestly been checking the MLS out over there. A lot of players, even youth development, they're seeing the MLS as a step forward in their career now, saying, I'm a talented player. I actually want to do it the Diego Rossi way or do it the Pedro Galese way. I want to go play MLS. I want to excel there and then maybe go to Europe, because they're going to give me the tools for me to learn English, for me to don't think about where am I going to sleep tonight, what am I going to eat. I'm going to have a coach right there, that's going to motivate me, that's going to develop me. And so, honestly, I mean, it's the league has grown tremendously, and so I couldn't be any more proud to every time have to debate people over there for MLS. Trust me, I'm team MLS all the way. So, let's put some comments from here, the chat. Thank you so much. It says Joe Pa. Sorry, Joe Bendig. Sorry, Joe Bendig was never a good keeper. His terrible positioning, along with with a bad defense, meant he gave up a lot of goals. But for one season, he made lunging saves because he had to. Okay, yeah. I mean, you guys could agree with that, with Joe Bendig being a terrible keeper.
I mean, in all fairness, he had one of the worst defenses in MLS. Um, if I may say something, I think Joe made some bad personal decisions that affected his gameplay and his time here in Orlando. I'm not gonna go deep into that, but I think his best year was probably his second year here, and I mean, when it comes to the MLS era, he was the best we had before Pedro. He was just good for his time here, serviceable, and I always respect everybody that wore our colors. So that's pretty much all my input on Joe Vendick.
All right. Jim D says Galessa was out there denying players with his. Honestly, like, I mean, you gotta be stupid to say that on live TV. I mean, I understand that it's just a word,
Yeah,
but I mean, you're
it's
in the
a
freaking.
technical term, it's a medical term, whatever.
I
But
mean,
the guys, see, the funny thing is in the Spanish broadcast they said in between his legs, right,
right,
and
right.
entre pierna, right, which you don't have to go specific.
Oh wow.
But on the English, I didn't know because Twitter like lit up at that point. I'm like, I don't
No,
know why people are talking
no,
about this.
and he said it so serious too. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
You hit him in the
sound like
penis.
sound like a Chappelle show. It sound like I'm watching an
Yeah,
episode from Chappelle show. Anyways, Skitter Jeep, it says it seems our center backs are stepping it up, and the front is starting to gel. Hate to bring it up again, but Ruan and Moutinho just severely disappointing again. Yes, Ruan is fast to the corner, but his crosses are horrible, and Moutinho continues to be a huge liability in the corner. This has to be fixed. Thoughts, Zach?
Zach.
Yeah, Ruan has been very good for us in past seasons. This season, it started to show a lot more. He had one opportunity this last game to get a ball straight into the box. Carr was making a run. He would have been open. Could have been 2-0. But the cross went straight to Jonathan Bond, Galaxy's keeper. So that was really disappointing to see. And over on our podcast, we have one of our guys who has been just kind of nailing Joao and not like he's been supported. Like you support your boys, but it just hasn't been great. So for him to now have to deal with a new signing possibly coming in at left back, also we may see him be replaced, even though he was traded for El Munir, which was a move that was kind of questionable. Also,
No, I agree. And um, if you guys have been watching Gaston Gonzalez, I'm salivating at the mouth, guys.
Oh
I
yeah.
am. I really am. I spoke with Nachito Torres, who's Sanchez. I'm sorry, Nachito Sanchez, who is my who has been he covers the club. He is one of the announcers for the B team over there in Santa Fe in Argentina, and he was telling me this past week that Gaston is just ready to come. And you can see it on his Instagram. He is ready to go. He has short timers anxiety. I mean, like he's enjoying himself, scoring goals, playing very good, but he's already looking into the future. And for Joao, maybe his future is being a bench player because you don't spend $3 million to bring a player of that caliber just to ride the bench. I'm sorry, you just don't. And another thing that Gaston brings to the table, he's a great crosser, set piece specialist, which I don't think we can say we have a definite set piece specialist, and a guy just like Kara, who when caught out of his position, he adapts and contributes, even though that's not quote unquote his job. When it comes to Juan, I have to agree with Zach. He brings a lot of speed. To be honest with you, the situation there, it makes me miss Rafa Ramos. Rafa Ramos probably one of. There's two guys in this team that have been our best crossers. One is Rafa Ramos, and the other one is the legendary Luke Bowden, the soccer Jedi, with a poisonous left foot. I miss that. We haven't had that in a while. Um, I hope that Juan understands that that's more is expected of him this season. because if we cannot lift silverware if we are linear, we have to be looking forward and upward.
Sure. I guess I'll be the positive one here. Personally, I think they faced a tough opponent in the on the wing. Not to discredit what you guys have said. I think there are valid points as well, and I could certainly understand why you guys are saying that wholeheartedly. But I mean, Kevin Cabral and Raheem Edwards, they play a great game against Orlando. Obviously, Ruan, it was just pretty much there going solo on the left. Junior Urso ended up traveling to the mid. You didn't, so he had to do double duty there, in my opinion. And obviously, on the side of Joan Moutinho, yeah, I mean, he in a previous game, I think it was the first game of the season. He goes in the attack and then leaves his space, right, and he doesn't come back. And obviously, you having especially in the first half, you have Julian Araujo. I mean, you got to understand these guys in the Mexico national team, and also Douglas Costa, a guy who came in to be the face of the franchise with Chicharito. Um, Everything was going bad for Joao in the first half, in my opinion. They were penetrating the defense through that side, but then Douglas Costa got injured, and then that completely changed. And Araujo didn't have the same, and I think that was because Cesar helped him with Facundo to kind of carry that load of going, just to stay back. And then I think his performance at that point, in my opinion, improved a bit. But it was because Douglas Costa also got injured. So I think it's something to definitely take notes on, and I'm sure the coach has done that because we're playing Portland, right? And I think that comes to our next subject. We are playing the Portland Timbers, and we have 4 players. 3 players are going to be missed due to international duty, and I want to go ahead and put put the table here. There you go, the board. There you go. So to go to the next topic, and I appreciate to everybody that's online. We're going to be talking about Portland and Orlando City now. We're getting close to the end of the show also. Um, Before I go, let's go read some comments real quick. It says, Ahmed Salim, do you think the call-ups will make a big impact for us against Portland? We'll talk about that. And Apesto. Well, that sounds was weird. Greetings from Uruguay. We'll miss Facundo Torres. We'll definitely miss him for sure. So this is obviously not the lineup that's going to come out against Portland, but this is what I believe is going to be the lineup that is going to come out against Portland. You're going to be Mason Staduhar, Ruan AC, Jensen Moutinho, Urso Araujo, Pereira, Pato as a right winger, and then Benji Michel as a left winger. And then right up top, Urgent Kara. I think to me that's going to be the lineup. It's going to be probably the same system. Portland plays into a similar system as well. You have to understand, Portland took four goals last game against FC Dallas.
You sure did.
A team that we've contained in preseason. You have to understand it's preseason, but they've went head to toe with us, toe to toe, and I don't think Orlando looked bad at all against. And you have to understand, Facundo was brand new, and a lot of brand new players just coming across the pond. So, guys, what changes would you make to Orlando City lineup, and what do you guys expect out of this game? Let's start with Zach and then go with Dave.
Yeah, I really wouldn't mind the current lineup you have right there. The one change that I would make, I don't know if he's available totally, but I would finally give Sylvester some minutes on that right wing position. It's hard not to play both Kara and Pato. They're both fantastic strikers, and we just saw what Kara can do, even not playing as a traditional number 9 like he said that he was. But I'd love to see Sylvester finally get some minutes this season.
Go ahead, Dave.
Sure. A little bit of history. As Luis have said, last game lost 4-1 at Dallas. Last 3 games that we have faced Portland. Last time was a 2-1 defeat in MLS's back final. 1-1 in Portland with the lone goal coming from Santiago Patiño. and a victory for Orlando, 3-2 in Orlando. The series right now is one victory to Portland, one tie, and three victories to Orlando. The defeat and tie happened in Portland. We had two victories, one in Portland, one in Orlando, and two in Orlando. I'm sorry. And this is a team that we match up very well with. I believe deep in my heart that what happened in MLS's back was just the cruelty of football. Um, in my opinion, we were the better team that night. Unfortunately, the ball did not fall for us into the net. And to me, what says we're ready for the big time is going to a very hostile, excuse me, very hostile environment. One of the smallest pitches in MLS. Just for anybody that doesn't know, um, the pitch in FC Cincinnati and Portland is only 5 yards bigger than New York City's. So that already tells you the type of place that we're going to, and the way that stadium is built. Basically, the crowd is on top of it. It's gonna be noisy. It's gonna be it's it's turf. It's gonna be a tough matchup. We're without three of our best players. I wouldn't be upset if we got a point, but I think that these guys that you see on your screen can definitely grind out a result there. Portland is gonna be coming back, trying to take their frustrations on somebody, and trying to win in front of their home crowd. But I gotta tell you, this is a doable game, and a little bit of a question for you guys. This is supposedly the international break. Six teams are playing. The rest of the league is resting. Why are we putting a team that has three starters missing when there's teams that are missing no players whatsoever and they get to rest?
Yeah, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly there. I think that's just, I mean, you want to throw out conspiracy theories that they don't respect Orlando because we're a smaller market and blah, 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 blah. But I think when it came to soccer, I mean, soccer it's been booming here since Orlando was in USL. So that's what a lot of people don't take into consideration, right? They only focus on 2015. Um, Oh, personally, I think this Portland team is beatable. I know a lot of people are going to think why, because they've had some players that I just play very inconsistently, and I'm gonna say that on the left, on the back side, Ruan and Moutinho right now, even Moutinho with those issues that Sack brought up. Um, they are going to win the matchups between Bravo and Van Rankin. I mean, Van Rankin is playing horrible. I don't think he's a brand new addition. Came from Liga MX, Mexican national team player. And then Bravo, surprisingly, he came from Superliga Argentina. Having a couple of tough matchups there. I think the speed of Ruan is just going to knock him out of the park. I think he needs to find that partnership on the wing so he doesn't, like you said, throw a bad cross, throwing the cross to the middle of the, when no one's around, right? So, Tulioma and McGraw too. I mean, I think we have the best pair of center backs right there. I think the only one that we need to be a little careful is the Chara brothers, right? I think the way they change the pace of the game, they like to cut through the defense, carve them up, set up plays, also look for fouls, and set the set piece. I think Portland does a lot of that. They try to, look for that contact and then do the set piece. And then out of the set piece, usually they had Sebastian Blanco, but now they have the Chara brothers also that they'll be able to go ahead and do that. Um, if this is going to be the lineup, a lot of people, I'm going to read their comments just a second, are saying, but just like what Sack said, Van der Water for Pato second half. Pato was I think in the injured list. He wasn't injured, but he just had a protocol type of thing he had to get rid of. And I mean, it could be. I mean, he did score some great goals. I don't know if you've seen his Instagram. He scored like amazing goals on training today.
Hmm.
So I could agree with that in my opinion too. And Pato be the change of pace player, or maybe when you need somebody more in the attack, why not to help Erjan Kara for sure. I think, another one said about Kyle Smith. Um,
Hmm.
I think there are games for Kyle Smith, and there are games that we need to go in the attack. And I think whether it's Kyle Smith or Moutinho going against Portland, they're better than Van Rankin. So I'm completely confident. It personally is just my opinion. Whoever is that left back against Portland, they're better than Van Rankin. I mean, it sounds like I'm bashing Van Rankin, but he's just been playing very poorly. And whether it's at home or away, he's just been playing very poorly, in my opinion. So, um, what are your thoughts on that? And also, people are saying about, I'm gonna put their comments here. It says here, Joe Pa, I love the energy of Vanderwater, but he's not a technical player. I'm not sure how you start him over a rested Pato in a small pitch that requires high technical skill. I agree on that too. That's one of the reasons why I wanted him as a right wing. And he did not a bad job playing as a right wing last game too. Well, the game before last. Colin Garvey says, I think Tulioma will be out of Portland to play for New Zealand. You see, so Tulioma is out to play for New Zealand more than likely. So there'll be a different center back right there. Skitter Jeep, I agree with Sack, Vanderwater for Pato. I also play Smith for Moutinho. Um, well, that's great. Thank you so much, Skitter Jeep. Victor Rivera, why Mason and not Adam, guys? I
Well,
made, I made the lineup. I mean, but
the simple fact, Victor, is the fact that Mason is our number two,
right, right.
and Adam is our number three. And the, Pareja may be, hey, Adam is better suited. I rate both keepers with a lot of respect. They have shown us that they can ball. But in my opinion, not an expert. Did not stay at Holiday Inn Express last night. But I have to tell you that Mason is younger and better suited for this type of game. If we have Adam, I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. I think, like I said, they're both great players. But
Yeah,
Mason has shown better technical ability. The game against Atlanta, a lot of people sort of discounted because he got drilled with two golazos that I don't even think Pedro would have probably stopped. But if you look at the rest of that game, he was very good against very good opposition, and so that's what I have to say. I think Mason, after all these years and after the tutelage under Brian Rowe and Pedro Galese, it's time for him to spread his wings and show us what he can do.
all right. So this has been Portland versus Orlando City. Before we close this subject, then we go to the last few things that we need to talk about in the show today. Again, I want to let everybody know. Thank you so much for being online with us live. This episode will be available for your listening pleasure on Spotify and Apple Podcasts right after this is over. Also, check us out on YouTube as Loud and Proud Orlando, Facebook, Twitter as LPL Podcast. And also, you can find us on our social media right here. Um, so, moving on real quick, we have Ignacio Galvan. I think Dave can tell us a little bit more of this player real quick, a rapid fire.
Sure. This just came out through. Person that broke it out was at Graham_FL on Twitter. Thank you, Graham. This obviously I was out working today, so I wasn't on top of social media. But yeah, this kid coming from Racing, I believe. No, I'm
Racing, yeah.
sorry. Yeah, Galvan is coming from Racing.
Good
This
club.
is the same club as
Rodrigo
Rodrigo
Schlegel.
Schlegel, and this is a kid that everything that I read says that he's going to OCB. Also, Um, Today we heard that Victor Yan from Santos in Brazil has been signed by Orlando City, a 20-year-old that shows a lot of promise. And one thing that we haven't had the opportunity to talk about, the staff for OCB is going to be Martin Perelman. His assistant is going to be Manuel Goldberg, and the goalkeeping coach is going to be the legendary Marcos Machado, who has been our goalkeeper in all USL, in the rebirth of OCB, NWSL, MLS, USL League One Academy, the man that introduced Flavio to Phil. What has this man not done? And interesting here, Martin, he played for 10 years for Hapoel Beersheba in the first division of Israeli football. And Manuel Goldberg also was the manager of Hapoel Katamon in Jerusalem, Israel. They're both Argentinian Jews, and as a Hispanic Jew myself, I get to flex. I'm happy for those appointments. Everybody tells me that these guys are in it to win it, and they were picked after a selective process. So I'm super excited about what these guys are going to be able to do. Their first game is this Saturday. If anybody knows what's the situation with the tickets, please let us know. I am definitely interested in going. I heard all sorts of rumors that they're going to be free, that they're going to be free to season ticket holders, that they are going to be for a nominal fee, etc., etc. Please let us know. I know the games are going to be played in the facility at 1000 Bill Beck Boulevard over there in Buenaventura Lakes in Kissimmee. So, if somebody from the club is watching, please let us know. A lot of fans are definitely want to support the boys this weekend, since we don't have Orlando City game. And last, our United States national team will be at home here in Orlando this Sunday against Panama. Please, well, if you haven't bought a ticket, I gotta tell you right now, you're probably gonna have to sell your children to get one. But if you can, please be there. The United States, most likely, depending on the result in Mexico City, is gonna definitely need 3 points to clinch in order to go into the World Cup. Things don't look so shiny at the moment. So, but football is football, and it's an opportunity. If you have never seen our national team live, it's an opportunity that every American should have. So, I encourage everybody to show up this Sunday, support our national team. If you can make it to Kissimmee to support OCB, that too. And for what I gather, immediately after the Portland game ends, the U.S. team kicks off. So it's going to be an interesting weekend for football here in Orlando.
Well, and before we go, we want to talk Pride here for a little bit. So Orlando Pride, first and foremost, very, very happy to be back. The season started, NWSL season started, and 10 new players Orlando Pride had. A lot of the old guard left to different teams. Young blood came in with a lot of good stats, and a lot of hustle and a lot of wanting to win. You can tell these players want to win games, and egos aside, or they just want to win. And some players like Courtney Peterson, and I want to thank 181 Creative for the footage, and also Orlando City Communications for allowing us to take pictures. Courtney Peterson was phenomenal on the wing. Also, a player that surprised everyone was Carrie Lawrence. Carrie Lawrence, UCF grad, played a phenomenal game. Both right back and left back play phenomenally. They and I want to tell this to people. They play against the NWSL reigning champs. They kept the same core as last season. The championship team, pretty much, they played the championship team at Exploria. And this is a team that had 10 brand new players. And they literally neutralized Trinity Rodman. They neutralized, Ashley Hatch, Sanchez. When they try to go into transition, neutralizing completely. The backline was spot on. Another new addition for Orlando that was very exciting to see was Mega Montefusco. She was pretty much like our AC, like Antonio Carlos. I mean, she was just doing the defensive job, and she had Amy Turner right next to her. And I mean, the backline was spot on. So I want to give kudos to Orlando Pride. I think Coach Cromwell is doing the right things. I think their staff is definitely making some moves. Go support the Pride as well. I want to encourage everybody to go check them out. This new Pride is actually very hungry for titles, very hungry to play the sport. And I mean, another player that, and I guess this is reluctantly speaking because everybody knows the level of player she is, was Marta, man. The captain of the Orlando Pride now. I mean, she is a world-class icon in women's soccer, a pioneer, broke through windows and doors and everything you want to say. And she yesterday, I mean, last game of the Pride, she played a phenomenal game. And it's just that the team's still gelling. They had a couple of chances, but obviously they're playing against the reigning champs. And a draw against them, I wasn't counting, believe it or not, on a draw. It was just so great to see just the level of resilience and how much they put on this game. It was just awesome, in my opinion. So definitely I want to end up with that. I also want to tell everybody where Sac's located with OC Fan TV. I don't know, Sac, you want to plug OC Fan TV, what events you have coming, when's your show, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, we just put out an episode yesterday. Then I believe we have another one coming out sometime this week, and then maybe another preview for the Portland match. We also have an event coming up in about 25, 26 days at Tin Roof near iDrive, or actually right on iDrive. We are hosting a watch party there for the Columbus away match. So if you guys want to come out, show out, we got merch. There will be drink specials, a lot of purple, hopefully. And just there for a good time, trying to get the fan base together. There's been like watch parties, but we're trying to make this a thing and kind of bring the groups of people together to support the boys. So,
you don't have to tell me twice, my friend.
There you go.
Already circling my calendar. I'm gonna try my best to be there. But my wife already understands. She's a football widow this time of the year, so I'll try to be there for sure. Before we go, I would like to say let's try to support our club, our teams, with our presence and our positive attitude. Um, we are here for the football. That's what unites us. I think if we get into petty fights online or personally about differences, we all have differences. I've been married to my wife 16 years and we don't agree on everything. Okay. And I love her with all my heart. And she hasn't murdered me yet. So all I have to say, my friends, is that let's be excellent to each other. Let's be cool. Let's learn to love our differences, and let's respect the fact that we have this entity, this club that brings us together. I didn't know Luis or Zach, but football brought us together.
That's right.
And that's what matters. So, because I saw some things over the weekend that made me sad, and I just wanna say, you don't have to agree with me 100%. You don't have to like me. You just have to know that I love Orlando City as much as you do, and that should make me a decent human being in your book. So let's support our club this weekend. Like I said, let's try to support OCB, Pride, Orlando City, and our national team as they are seeking a place for us in the World Cup. And I'll see you guys next Monday.
Last comment, Gamma Knife. Portland has been bringing in Blanco as a sub. He has been dealing injuries. with injuries, but definitely someone to worry about late in the game. I wholeheartedly agree, especially in the set piece, like I was saying
Absolutely.
before. And just to close out, again, check us out on YouTube. We're Loud and Proud Orlando. Click on the notification bell for all notifications. We're live on Facebook as well. We have a group as well on Facebook. It's called the Orlando City SCMLS Informed Discussion Group on Facebook. No Omar Bamba on this one, unfortunately, for all the people that want Omar Bamba to be there. He can be there, unfortunately. And we're on Twitter at LPO_podcast. Thank you so much for you guys being live. And, you know, I think this game on Portland is going to be very important. I think if we get the 3 points, I mean, we're going to come back home and LAFC watch out, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
there are talks of them having some new signings, but LAFC watch out because we beat the Galaxy and we beat Portland, two probably contenders of that conference for sure. So hopefully that happens. Thank you, Zach, again for being on the
Yeah,
show.
thank you, Zach.
Thank
Yeah,
you for having me.
and vamos Orlando, guys.
Vamos, Orlando.
Almost.